Hey, what's up, everybody? Qualified Critics here, and we've got our boy Third Floor Arcade. Jason, what's up, man?
What's up, UC? Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Yeah, my man. It's been a while. I've been out of streaming for a bit, not the least of which because I have the world's worst. And we can say this in the very beginning before a lot of people join. Got the crappiest backdrop in the business. Got like my underwear drawer back here.
Got a nice
So
painting there. Looks good.
yeah, so I'm in my bedroom. So you know how it is. I'm in the apartment. Trying to build this house, and so eventually I'll have a good backdrop. But do you know who I think has the best backdrop in the business, like in our little niche? And then I'm curious if you have a different opinion, but Retro Ralph, man, he's got like multiple CRTs running a single feed of like some retro game and stuff. It looks awesome, but I'm scrubbed here over here.
He's got there. It looks good.
Yours looks good too, though, by the way.
Thanks. I got like a really bad sun glare going on in here. I got a skylight, so it's just like middle of the afternoon. It's always really sunny in here.
Well, so are you actually on the third floor?
Yeah, this is the third floor. Yeah.
Okay.
I have like a townhouse. It's like a 3-story townhouse, and so the arcade's on the third floor, and then I got so whenever I do those reviews, everyone's talking about the plant. That's
I've seen those. That's your what?
That's the dining room downstairs.
Okay. So why not do you not have a basement, or is it just not as well set up as your third floor?
But it's unfinished.
Okay.
So at some point, I'm actually going to probably start moving a couple cabs down there because it's definitely getting full.
Yeah, I bet.
So I'll probably move my lesser played cabs down there.
Sure. So why don't we kick it off like we talked about with Big Blue, because it's right behind you. I finally had my review out. You had one of the early reviews, and yeah, man, what do you think? So you've had it for a while, and I know we talked to us before where sometimes opinions can shift after you kind of have that rush of, all right, let me play every game, let me get this review done. You post it, and then it's like, all right, let me actually enjoy. In a perfect world, you get to enjoy the product you actually bought. What do you think, man? Is it still? Do you still like it? Where are you at with it?
I think it's definitely my favorite one they've done so far. I do have 2 complaints about it, but overall, I think it's my personal favorite game lineup on there, and just the online play is awesome. I think.
So I haven't done that yet. We still need to link up for online, and you probably spank me at Street Fighter, but I need to.
Street Fighter skills any good?
Nah, super mediocre. I'm not terrible, but I'm definitely not good. So. Fighting games were never something I played a whole lot. I mentioned that in my review because I feel like I have to say that in my review because someone who's like a hardcore fighting gamer might have a different perspective. Like, for example, the controls are lackluster, stuff like that. But to me, it's a pick up and play with a friend. Definitely, I'm excited for online. To me, though, I thought the coolest thing was just the presence that the cabinet brings to the table. Like, it just looks. I don't know why my camera just went blurry, by the way, but it like you can see it behind you. It has that presence. That extra height was cool. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, it's like about 6 feet tall. I think the marquee looks awesome on there.
Agreed. So what are your 2 complaints?
Early mock-ups, it looked a little goofy, but once you get it set up, it's awesome, I think.
Yeah, so the adjoining side panels, I can't remember who broke that news originally, but I remember thinking, I wonder if this is a like fake or something, because it seemed goofy. But you can tell when you install it from the inside, there are multiple adjoining points.
Yeah.
So it feels sturdy.
Solid, yeah.
Agreed.
It feels pretty good. The only complaint I have on there, though, definitely the speaker quality. Maybe I'm just used to the iiRcade, but like
it's crappy.
It doesn't get loud at all. Like it almost feels like a little bit lesser quality than the previous ones. I don't know. Maybe it's just the speaker placement on there.
Well, it's quieter than most of the other cabinets, and
I think that's what it is.
I think that's a software issue. So obviously, you've got this system on a chip powering these speakers. There's no additional amplification other than whatever current that tiny chip is running. So that's one issue, but that's going to be true for all the one-ups. The only product it's not true for is the iiRcade. It's got its built-in amplification, a discrete amplifier. But it's just turned down a little too much, and they've done that. They've had cabinets where the volume's too high, volume's too low. It's like some weird. Yeah, I don't know how they can't dial that in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know like how hard that is to figure out, but you'd think it'd be pretty easy.
You'd think, but maybe we'll get an update. They did fix Miss Pac-Man, which was too loud, cocktail cabinet with firmware, so they can do that. So hopefully that happens here.
But everything else on is pretty good, I think. I think my second complaint, there hasn't been many people actually in the online rooms.
I was going to ask you about that.
I was just on this morning, and there was one person on, and that's all the games.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a lot of fun. It's cool seeing all the, everybody in the community in there. And, a lot of the YouTubers are on there playing.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are still waiting on their shipment to come in.
Yeah, I think Best Buy still has to ship theirs, I believe. So I guess not everybody has theirs in yet, but that online part should get increase a little bit, hopefully,
Yeah, I hope so too, man.
There's definitely some good players on there. Like I'm trying to crack the top 10, and so far I can't do it.
It seems like no matter how small a fighter game community is, there's always really good players that just live to fill that niche.
It's the same 10 players pretty much in the top 10 for all the Street Fighter games.
Yeah, right.
But
well, what do you make of that tilted control panel? I've been talking about that for a while. A lot of arcades had that original hardware. One Up did it with Golden Tee. They did it with Big Blue. I don't understand why that's not more of a standard feature. And I don't understand why, like the coin doors on some cabinets, but not others. They have not a lot of standardization across their product line, which I find a little weird. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it is a little strange, I think. I don't know. I got a feeling they're probably going to be doing those molded coin doors, though, on everything. Probably going forward, I would think. Probably everything after, the X-Men cab.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? Does the Tron, I forget, did the Tron cab have that?
That's a good question. I don't remember. I know Class of 81 doesn't. It's been a while since I saw the Tron leak, so I don't. Let us know in the chat if you guys know. I can't remember. I remember thinking Tron looked like potentially one of the best looking cabinets. It's got the integrated blacklight. It sounds like not just blacklight reactive paint, but I guess an actual blacklight. So they're putting some effort into the design, but I'm not sure about the coin door.
I'm definitely getting that X-Men cab.
Me too.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I think that's the next one to come out.
What about Simpsons? You ordering that?
Yeah, I put the Walmart pre-order. It was the cheaper version.
Dude, you're gonna be building a yeah. That's what I did too. $5.99, right? I thought that was acceptable.
I think it was $5.30.
Okay. Oh, you're right. It is. It's because I remember it was a weird price.
But
I wasn't gonna buy it until I found that.
It doesn't have a stool, I think, or I don't know. I forget what the difference was. I think it was just the stool and a sign or something.
Yeah, it doesn't have the tin sign. I don't think it has the stool. I don't remember if it's light up deck, but I don't even remember.
I don't think it has that, actually. Okay. I think that's another difference.
Yeah. But bottom line is I think they hit a ceiling on their price. Like you and I have talked about this. I think a lot of folks in the community have talked about it, but pinball hits $850. That was insane. I don't think anybody, I didn't see a single person defend that. $850, that's cool. But then you see the prices start to come back down. So I think that they're kind of dealing with reality.
Yeah.
On that a little bit, man. But oh, oops, I didn't mean to. Yeah, why do I have 2 thumbs down? I don't know. Maybe it's because of my crappy backdrop. It's all good. Everybody has to have an opinion, man. That's why we're here. Which actually, that brings me to another point. Did you see the John D live stream with Michael B, and then I Ralph and Console Kits were on it? Did you watch that?
I did. Yeah, I saw most of it. Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, what'd you think about that? Because I know it's always divisive when John's back in the community. I like it because it's good for business because he gets eyeballs. But what'd you think about it?
I thought it was awesome to see. They're all the some of my favorite people in the community right there. It's just cool to see everybody join together.
Yeah, for sure.
John D seems pretty cool. I'm still looking for him on the Street Fighter Online. I haven't seen him on there yet.
He's going to come online when he comes on to drop real news finally.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. He showed up, and when people see him, that we're so conditioned that we're going to get news, and there wasn't really a lot of news from that live stream, so people get mad. But at the same time, I mean, I think he's limited on what he can say, and a lot of people were upset. I think hammer him harder. But if you do that, he's just going to get mad. What's he going to do? Suddenly leak a bunch of secrets because people hammer him? I mean, I think it is what it is. You got that corporate line of communication channel. There's only so much you can do with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
How's it's kind of off topic. How's everything going with like your new house you're building with the
so for anyone watching, if you haven't heard me mention it, you probably have. I brought it up a lot because I'm self-conscious. I'm streaming this freaking bedroom with nothing behind me. So I went from a house that we sold to an apartment for about a year. We built a house, and it's going to give me more room. It's going to be a much larger basement, so I can have it. And it won't be a finished basement right away, unfortunately. It just wasn't in the budget, but I'll have tons of space. So buying, like Jason, you and I talk about sometimes, buying these arcades, it's also about, do you have space for it? It's about the money. It's about, do you want it? But it's also about, do you have the space? So that won't be an issue. But anyway, it hasn't started yet. So digging should start at some point in November.
Okay.
By this time next year, I should be in the new house. So how it's going is we're pretty much finalized with the floor plan, halfway finalized with the selections. If any of you guys have built a house before, you've been through the process. You got to pick everything out, which is fun, but it's also kind of tedious, if I'm being honest. I mean, I think the first meeting we had, we just talked about, we didn't even talk about cabinetry or flooring or anything. We talked about like fixtures and stuff. Like it was real specific. And I think we spent 3 hours, and I wanted to put a bullet in his head. By the end of it, like it was horrible. It was, I mean, I'm glad we did it and stuff, but it was just, and it's my girlfriend and I that they're going through this process. It was just really tedious. So we have one more meeting like that, and then everything's finalized, and then they start digging. So
how big of a game room are you looking to put in there? Is it like how many cabs is your goal for like a game room?
So the thing is, the basement's big. It's 2,800 square. It's not finished. When it is finished, I plan to put a gym, a game room, probably a small bedroom, and then I want to put a real movie theater. Have you ever seen the guy on Instagram? Trying to think of his name. He posts in this community sometimes. It's like Game Room Arcade or something. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Sure, I don't know.
He's this guy in Canada, and he's got a crazy basement with a proper movie theater. This guy probably put 60, 70 grand. And I'm not going to put that much into mine, but his is next level. And that really inspired me to, I want the game room and the arcade down there. But as far as the size of the game room, it kind of unlimited. It's just going to be which cabs I want and if I have the cash to buy them. Yeah. So,
did you sell any cabs so far since you moved?
No. So our other project is we're in contract for a property that we're going to put on Airbnb. It's like out in this national forest on the edge of a lake, and it's kind of far from where we live. But we're going to have somebody else manage it because it's too far for me to manage it. But what I want to do is take a cab or two that I probably would have sold, like maybe Asteroids, and put it in that Airbnb. So when people stay, they have something to play. So I probably will do that instead of sell stuff off. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've sold a few cabs so far, and it seems like they sell immediately. As soon as you list them on Marketplace, like they're going.
Yeah. I have sold. So I sold the original. And what's up, David? Thanks for joining us, man. I sold my original Street Fighter 2 because I really didn't like that cabinet. And like you said, it goes like that.
I've sold like I think 6 cabs already. But
jeez.
But they're all like, you know, the wave one. Like I sold like a Pac-Man, the first Mortal Kombat, Space Invaders, Final Fight. I wish I had that Final Fight still. That's the only one I regret selling. Is the Final Fight.
So do you not have the Capcom cocktail?
I don't have any of the cocktail tables.
It would have been nice if they put, and I saw a commenter brought this up, and I agree with them. It would have been nice if they put Final Fight on Big Blue.
Yeah, I bet you the reason they didn't put that on there is because it's on the Capcom Legacy. I think they wanted to like, you know,
differentiate
give a reason to buy the Capcom Legacy,
sure.
Something like that. But I'm planning on keeping the Capcom Legacy, so I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a good games list.
Cabinets, but I don't think I'm going to get rid of it.
Sure. Well, listen, I want to ask you. We didn't talk about this ahead of time, so maybe you just didn't play it. But did you used to play Diablo 2 back in the day, back when it came out?
Wait, what game was it?
Diablo 2. Anybody in the chat? You didn't play it? So they just re-released it.
Okay.
And I don't know if you followed Blizzard at all, but they re-released Warcraft 3 a year or two ago, and it had a lot of issues. Diablo 2 just got re-released, man. It's exactly the way I remember it. And that was, for a lot of years, that was my favorite game. It was like the only thing I played on PC.
Nice.
So shout out, if any of you guys grew up playing it like I did, pick up Diablo 2
Resurrected.
Resurrected.
Was that around when that came out?
I think it came out in 2000.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the exact date, but it was basically, I played it through high school, and it was awesome. If you jumped into it now, Jason, not having nostalgia for it or anything, you would find like it's kind of a mediocre. It's not super deep. It's kind of simplistic gameplay, but for its time, it was really next level and beyond anything else for an action RPG. So
nice.
Yeah, it might be worth checking out.
I've heard of it. I just never really played it or got into it.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It was, it was on PC. It wasn't previously on console, so not everyone plays on PC.
Yes, I want to show you something that I just picked up. I didn't even open it yet. Or I mean,
all right, let's see
it. But I haven't even hooked it up. But
all right,
hold on a sec. I
cool.
got one of these today. It got delivered yesterday, but
nice.
I just opened it out of the box like a half hour ago.
Pull it back a little bit from the camera if you can, so we see the whole thing. There you go, and then bring it over just a bit. That looks really slick.
Yeah, it feels pretty quality. The 2-player. I was kind of on the fence with these things. I bought it. I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see just like the light up marquee on there and the controls and stuff. And it's actually
Where did you order it?
Target.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like 2 days after I ordered this off Target, there was like a listing on Amazon for like $40 cheaper. So I definitely overspent on this one. But
oh god.
It's all good though. It's definitely a pretty cool item, these 2-player countercades.
Yeah, what are the games that came on? Yeah, let's see that.
The reason I picked this one, the game lineup on this one is awesome. It's got the Punisher, X-Men versus Street Fighter,
nice.
Marvel versus Capcom, then you got Marvel superheroes. I kind of wish they would have skinned this the Punisher though. I don't know. I think that would have been pretty cool. A Punisher arcade.
Yeah, and I doubt they'll ever skin a stand-up or 3-core, whatever you want to call it, but the full-size arcade one up, they're never going to do a full-size Punisher. So this would have been a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think you'd have to like mod that if you wanted to. Dreamcast Kyle did one of those, I think.
Okay. Wait, show the side of it. The far side of your control panel. Is that a USB port? What is that?
Yeah, so it's got a USB. It's for like a controller. You can plug in like an Xbox controller or whatever.
Okay. Why would you want to do that if it's 2-player?
You got a headphone jack on that side.
Okay.
And then the speakers on the bottom. I don't know if you can tell, but I haven't even powered it up yet. I'll probably check it out later today. I'll try to get a review out this week.
Well, before you do that, do you have room to plug that in? I just want to see the marquee light up. I've never seen a countercade with the light up marquee yet. Or is it too? Are you too far?
I'm trying to think. Hold on a sec. Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I don't have the power cord up here.
Okay, don't worry about it then, man. It's all good.
Actually, sorry.
Well, check out Jason's channel for the review in a little bit then.
Yeah, I'll try to do a review like Monday or Tuesday, I'm thinking. But
cool.
Definitely cool. Feels good. And, I think it's the perfect size, to be honest. And the control deck is almost the same size as a 3-quarter scale. It's like probably 3 inches narrower. Yeah,
it looks like a solid product. I think they've come a long way with the countercade. They're giving good games lists. They the first gen I thought looked like junk. Without the light up, they had the MDF marquee.
Yeah,
all that
they
stuff.
were like huge, and they had like the screen was way too small.
They were just fat bezels.
But yeah, I like these 2-player countercades. Hopefully, the only problem with it, there's no Wi-Fi. So,
which, man, I'm sure that's a cost thing. But if they're ice skating uphill on trying to get a big enough community in these games, you'd think they'd want every product they put out to be Wi-Fi enabled, just to get that user base up.
Yeah. But do you have any countercades? Or you?
No, I don't. So that's something I'm hoping with the new house. I want to put in a bar in the basement, and if I can do that, then I'm going to start getting some countercades to put up on a bar. Because when I was younger, I remember going into a bar, like a restaurant, with a bar or whatever, and like when I was a kid, and they would put little like tabletop arcades, like they'd have Brick Breaker and stuff like that. And so that was kind of part of my childhood a little bit, was sitting there playing that, in the afternoon in like a bar restaurant. So I thought it'd be cool to have that there. But as it stands in my apartment, I just have nowhere to put them. Otherwise, I would. I do think these new gens.
Like Yeah, like how much counter space does like the average person have? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I know I don't have any.
yeah.
You got questions in the chat about the quality, and P-Dubs asked about the quality of the monitor. So he must have joined after you said it, but it hasn't been turned on yet, P-Dubs.
Yeah,
So he's
like,
going
I
to
just
do a
opened
review
out
in
the
a couple
box,
days.
Like 20 minutes before I got on here, and
Yeah,
I don't have the power cord up in this room, so I can't. But overall, everything feels awesome. Like, I mean, the sticks and buttons are the same as the other cabs, same size.
Yeah.
Just has a perfect weight to it, you know. And it's got
I was worried about that.
Feet on the bottom.
So I don't. Maybe the old countercates had those rubber feet, but I kind of looked at it as something that I felt like would slide around if you played it. But that's just me pulling that out of my hat. I never owned one, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it would be like right now I have it sitting on the Atari Pong pub table, and it's like I can tell if I was playing it, it's not sliding at all.
That's how I can tell you don't have enough room for more arcades. You're literally stacking them up, man.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, there's a question in the chat.
Space. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna have to move some to the basement, I guess. I mean, I got 2 of the 4-player countercades on the way, you know, this fall.
You've got enough space that I feel like you could just cycle them in and out if you have to. You're in that like mid-level where you can have a big arcade, but it's not unlimited, but you could just cycle them.
Yeah, just change it up every so often.
Yeah. So, hey, question in the chat for asking you if you're getting Class of 81. And man, I'm really on the fence on Class of 81 myself. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I like it, but I'm gonna pass on it. Like I already have the Miss Pac-Man.
Right.
I have Galaga on the or what else is on there? Yeah, it's Galaga. Dig Dug's on there.
I haven't looked at the games list in a minute.
Because I have the Pac-Man 40th and the Miss Pac-Man cap. So I think I'm just gonna at that price, I'm just gonna pass.
At $600. I think they're gonna have, as much as that would have killed it if it came out earlier in the Pac-Man cycle, you know, if they had released that before their Miss Pac cab or around the same time, it would have killed it. I think it's going to be mediocre sales because anybody that wants those games has them. P-Dubs has a super chat asking you to turn it on. That's up to you if you want to do that. So basically, he's got the power cord in another room. Although, are you sure it doesn't use the same power cord as the other cabs?
It's like it's a real small power cord.
So it's probably different then.
Like yeah.
We don't want to short out your new cabs.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, man, the Class of 81 is
like I almost got the NBA Jam countercade. I couldn't decide between the two.
I can't believe that one's not online. To try to get that lobby full, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I haven't been on there in like a couple months. Has it been pretty dead on the
I haven't been on and since before I moved, which has been a few months now, I haven't been on. So my
tab though, I do like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's an awesome cabinet. So I had this problem in this apartment for up until literally a week ago where my electricity would flicker, I guess you'd say. And it wasn't just lights. So like you'd hear the AC fan would kick on and kick off for a split second, kick back on. And it felt like things were getting overloaded. And so I was nervous to plug all my arcades and stuff in.
Yeah.
Turns out we had a loose connection from the street. So that's fixed. And now I have first world electricity finally. So I probably will finally go and set up all of those arcades. But I haven't turned, other than Big Blue, like I haven't turned the other stuff on for that reason.
Trying to think. Probably my most played up here, it's got to be, well, Big Blue I've been on pretty much every day since I got it. And then the iiRcade I play a lot. And yeah, the other stuff, I don't know, like I just turn on the cage. If I have people over, they want to play it, but
right.
You know, every once in a while I'll put on like Ninja Turtles or something, play through that. But
so that's what, now that I'm in this apartment, there's no room to move, so I don't have people over anymore. I go to people now. Whereas in my old house I'd have people over. So but it's teaching me that that's really the value of these arcades, is like having the game room, having the layout, having your friends, you know, or girlfriends or wives or whatever, but having people playing it with you too. And online helps with that. But now that my game room downstairs looks like a war zone, as you might have saw a little corner of it from my review, if you saw that at Big Blue, but it's like the appeal isn't there. So I need to really step it up when I get the new house built.
What do you think of the other games on the Big Blue, like Knights of the Round, Super Puzzle Fighter?
So Puzzle Fighter is a game that I knew about, but I hadn't played, and it doesn't work the way its dynamics are different than what I expected. So I haven't played it enough yet to have an opinion on it, but I'm glad there's a puzzle game finally.
Yeah, I love that game. I'm a huge fan.
Okay, so I plan to spend more time with it. Knights of the Round I liked a lot. I like the leveling mechanic on a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And like you said with Punisher earlier, I think throwing a beat 'em up in with these arcades that have, a very competitive games mostly, I think that helps mix it up a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. And beat 'em up's just like you can play that with your girlfriend or wife. They might not want to play Street Fighter and get, have that
really no
conflict.
skill involved with a beat 'em up. You just
hit the button, man. That's like I said. I just want to turn my brain off.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, man, I thought the big news from the past couple of weeks, I wanted to chat about this real quick. I know you don't have the 1UP pinball, but that firmware patch that the Arcade 1UP released, where you can install any of the 3 firmwares on any Arcade 1UP pinball. You put Star Wars on Marvel, you can put the Williams tables on Star Wars, whatever, and you can even put all 30 tables. I can't, as much as Arcade 1UP has worked hard to make it so you have to buy all their individual cabinets.
Yeah.
And they went the complete opposite direction with the pinball firmware. Even if it's a mistake, and I'm guessing it's a mistake, but I don't know. Some people are speculating it was intentional to try to boost sales, and maybe I have no idea. But even if it's a mistake, that's really out of character for them as a company. But have you been following that at all? This pinball patch?
I don't know. I kind of have the impression that like since the prices on those went up to whatever it is now,
$850. Well, now it's down to $750. But my dude, it was $850 for like 2 months.
Yeah, I think their sales are probably low, and they're trying to just sell units, I guess. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, I would buy one of the if I get all 30 tables.
Yeah,
I think I'd want that.
I know. I wonder if it boosted their sales. The thing is, how many people are going to know? Like,
yeah, the average person isn't going to know what to do,
or even know it's an option. I mean, they're going to buy the product, they're going to take it home, plug it in. They don't get prompted for an update. I bet the percentage of people that do the manual updates is probably pretty small. If you don't follow this stuff on social media or YouTube or whatever, you're not going to know about it. You're not going to just check the Arcade 1UP support page. But that was when I plugged in Big Blue, just to bring it full circle. It had that day one firmware update, right? Like you plug in and you get the immediate firmware. Even though that's kind of annoying, I was glad to see it, because that's what we need. We need this online infrastructure for these products to get updated at the end of the day, because they ship with flaws. And I'm glad to see that. I hope that becomes normalized.
So you did the update on the your Attack from Mars. Everything's good now?
I still haven't, because my Attack from Mars is like broken down into multiple pieces. And I need to dig through a box to find like the bolts that hold the back box in place and stuff. Yeah. And I was putting it off because, again, my electricity screwed up. So that basement game room, it's not even put together.
I hear everything is fixed on it.
That's what I hear. Whitewater's finally playable.
But I was so close to ordering that Star Wars pinball when they were up for pre-order, and then I just never pulled the trigger on it. So I don't know. I am going to get one eventually, but I'll probably wait for like Wave 2 if they have another round of them. They'll probably be like $1,000 by that point, though.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I can't tell. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat have seen this. I've seen comments online, specifically the Arcade 1UP subreddit, where people are speculating the relationship between 1UP and Zen has deteriorated. I can't tell if that, like, no one's presented evidence that that's true. They've just said that they've heard it, they've seen it, or whatever. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm curious, because if Arcade 1UP and Zen aren't on the same page. And so the rumor mill is this, that Zen is unhappy that Arcade 1UP took so long to release that patch, which I kind of understand. I mean, if Zen did the patch, which they did, and I understand that you have to do testing, but what would take that many months of testing to get that thing out there?
I think it was like 8 months or something, right?
Probably, yeah. I don't know, but that sounds right. It was a long time. So, again, don't know if that's true. I hope it's not true, because I'm with you, Jason. I want a round 2 of these pinballs.
Yeah.
But you do wonder kind of what's going on there, and where those rights stand. And if you're Zen, you wouldn't want a patch to be universally applied. And maybe that's their fault because they did the firmware, but I would think they would be upset that you could technically put Marvel on Star Wars. Like, that would probably breach a licensor agreement. And all that is to say, I'm surprised those firmware patches haven't been pulled from their site. I downloaded them. I'd recommend you do the same thing, Jason. Just download them to store them locally. Yeah. That way, if they do get pulled and you ever buy these cabinets in the future, you can go hog wild with all 30 tables.
That would be pretty cool, though, having the whole 30, you know. I think at that price point, maybe it makes it more, you know, viable, I think. You know, if you can...
I think so. I think at $750, it's still asking a lot, but if you get 30 good, you know, people have different opinions, but basically pretty good virtual pinball tables, great licenses, expensive licenses and all that, then we're kind of in the realm of reasonable. Legends Pinball upgraded, right? The Legends Pinball Plus, and I think their price point's $750, which maybe is what forced One Up back down, but they justified that with, hey, we've got more native tables now. It was a lot more than 30, but you kind of get where I'm going with that, I think.
Yeah. What do you think about the Terminator 2 and Ridge Racer? Are they cabinets that you would buy, you think?
I would. I don't have room, so it might be one of those things where I buy it and like, obviously I want to review it. And by the way, congrats to you for getting that review out so fast on Big Blue, man. I was on vacation, the thing got delivered, and I thought, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Dude, and I actually forgot
before too.
And I forgot I pre-ordered it. Has that happened to you? Because this was the first time I pre-ordered something like this and completely forgot I ordered it.
I don't know. Usually I'm like super eager. I know, like if I pre-order something, I'm like dying to get it.
Me too, normally, but apparently I like blacked out and just hit pre-order. I literally don't remember doing it, but I obviously did. But anyway, yeah, I'll probably get them and review them. At a certain point, I'm gonna have to take these old cabinets and like stuff them even further back into my basement. But I want to get them now so I can have them for my game room next year, because we don't know if they're still going to be produced and able to be bought. Like, look at Star Wars. You can't buy the Star Wars One Up anymore.
You know what drives me nuts with the pre-orders, going back to that? Is
what's
like,
that?
It seems like they're never released at the same time. You got GameStop, you know.
I know.
You got Best Buy a month later, and then you got, what else? Walmart. Usually Walmart is the first one.
Yeah, but GameStop was, I think, the first with Big Blue. So you can't even predict it, kind of to your point.
Wait, because there was a round, somebody else shipped it before GameStop. Wait, I'm trying to think I ordered mine from GameStop, but I think Walmart actually had theirs out like a week before. Like there was a couple reviews out, you know, before. Yeah, it's just crazy that Best Buy, you know, they didn't even ship theirs out yet.
Well, One Up blames the retailers on that, right? They say, well, it's not up to us, the retailers. You can set a street date. Like, imagine if one retailer just sold the new Xbox 3 weeks early. Like, you know, I mean, you can set a street date. And I don't know if they just don't have enough clout with the pre-orders or with the retailers to do that. Maybe they can't do that. But I know with a lot of products, they have a date and every store releases it at the same time. It would be kind of nice if they did that. I do think, so I guess we're talking about pre-orders. This is relevant. So P-Dubs asked which fall lineup cabs did I pre-order. So again, regular David didn't pre-order any of them, but I won't even say drunk David, because I can't even blame it on that. Like just sleep deprived David, maybe. I went and pre-ordered some stuff and forgot. So I did X-Men. I forgot about that. I did Simpsons. I didn't forget about that one. And then obviously I just got Big Blue. Ridge Racer is a game I have nostalgia for, so I probably will get Ridge Racer. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm just kind of generally glad to see them doing more racing cabinets.
Yeah, especially with the online play. I think that one might be pretty good.
Yeah, because imagine if Outrun had online play for Outrunners. That would have been fire. And
yeah,
in any event,
I'm still waiting for
a cab's one of my favorites. What's that?
I'm still waiting for a cruising cab.
Yeah, and you know,
I'm on the fence with Ridge Racer. I probably won't get that, but it looks awesome. But I think I don't know. I'm probably gonna end up passing on it. Ridge Racer, I never even played in the arcade. I had it on PlayStation.
I had it on PlayStation too. That was where I played it.
And it was good. I liked it, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to drop but it's probably going to be what, $800, $700.
Well, that's where I can't say for sure I'm going to get it, because I wanted to get pinball, but I wouldn't have bought pinball for $850. X-Men I got for $599. I wouldn't have paid. I think it was $699 at some retailers. Simpsons, like we talked about earlier, was like $699 or $7. I don't think it was $799, but it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So if Ridge Racer comes out and it's $750, $800, no man, I'm not paying that much.
Yeah.
If it's $600, I probably would pay that, but I don't see myself paying more. And man, that's doing this on YouTube. Like, let's be honest. If you do this on YouTube, you get some views from it. You probably won't make enough from that video to pay for the cabinet, unless you you hit the review like really early, it blows up. But most of these reviews don't earn enough income. They're earning 20, 30, 50 bucks. They're not earning 500. But you can use it as a tax write-off because you bought it for, your YouTube business. Even still, I'd have a hard time swallowing seven. I don't if someone was doing this just for fun purely and it wasn't a tax write-off and it didn't, they didn't post about it on YouTube. I can't imagine dropping 800 bucks on Ridge Racer.
It does look pretty awesome though. I love the marquee part of it, and it had a really good look to it, that one. But yeah, I agree. Ridge Racer. I think I'd jump on a Daytona or a Cruisin', like I said before.
I think
my ultimate driving cabinet.
So to me, Daytona would be my ultimate, but yeah, man, both of those are going to sell absolute fire. By the way, check out Arcade Will's channel. Will, I didn't know you had a channel, man. I'll have to look for that.
Oh yeah, I'm subscribed to his channel. It's awesome. I love.
I didn't even know about it. I'll check it out.
He's got a killer game room.
Oh, nice.
Got a really nice game room.
Well, when Arcade's your first name, man, you got to. By the way, I wanted to talk about these new counter or partycades real quick. Did you see the Galaga partycade?
There's a Super Pac-Man, right? I think.
Yeah, there's Super Pac, there's Galaga, and then there are a couple others that I'd have to flip through this video to see. The listings got pulled. It was on a QVC UK, and there's a Miss Pac, but I think we knew about that one.
I did see the new. There's QVC has new countercades with 2 games on them that look pretty cool. I think they were actually just on sale this week. There's like a new Galaga, Miss Pac-Man, and something else. I forget which one. And the Galaga has gapless, I think. Yeah. It had like the nice green trim on it. It actually looked pretty cool, I thought. It looked really cool. I posted that. I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, but yeah, I agree. To me, the countercades are more interesting than the partycades, but you can't argue with the games list they're throwing down on all these partycades. I mean, the people that have the partycades, everybody loves them. I don't have them, but the people that have them, they say they're pretty awesome. So I'll put this on in the background. This is from whoops. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. So I'll have to post in the description the link. I can't remember the name of this channel. I posted it before. I should have it remembered. But I mean, look at the games list on this Galaga Partycade, man. Excellent. So I don't know. Looks good. I think it'll sell well. Front there, is that just like a graphic? Yeah. Yes, it's a graphic. So it's Galaga graphic. Oh, okay. It's not like a coin door or anything. Nice. Yeah. So it'll sell well. I think there's probably more interest in these countercades and partycades. One, because they look and feel a little better than they used to, like you were saying with your marble countercade. But 2, because the other cabinets are so expensive now. Like they literally shut out people that can't afford or don't want to pay $700. So now you got to go down to these, or you just buy an iiRcade, and call it a life, or a Legends Ultimate. But I gotta say on the topic of iiRcade, I wanted to bring this up, get your thoughts, because I know you're a big fan. I'm a fan of theirs too. I felt like their game releases lately or announcements have been a little underwhelming, a little obscure. Yeah, like I would say, I haven't downloaded a game in about 3 weeks. They did have a new release on Friday. Can't remember the name of the game, but it actually looked pretty cool. But yeah, it's been a few weeks since I downloaded a game. I think the last game I bought off their store was like Neo Drift Out. Okay. P47. But actually, with the iiRcade, so I was one of the people. Did you hear about Mutant Football League? Well, do I have this right? Was it delayed or canceled or something? Something happened with it. So there was a bug in the software, and they need a third party to fix it. And apparently, they're not fixing it, or at least right now, they're not fixing it. Okay. So all the people that pre-ordered the cabinet, they were given the option. You could still get the cabinet, but you might not get the game for it. So I actually just canceled my pre-order for the cabinet. The cabinet looked awesome. Well, hold up. So yeah, the cabinet looks awesome. I agree. So they're saying you might not ever get the game for it, or it might just be a while. Just like they don't know, and it might be canceled. Sounds like it's more likely it's not coming.
Interesting. That's too bad.
But they're still going to do like a limited run of that themed cabinet.
Well, I don't blame you. So, I'm glad they told everyone. Sounds like they did the right thing, right? So you didn't get stuck with it. But I'm with you.
They handled it really well, I think.
But why? Who would want that cabinet if there's even a 50% chance you won't have the game?
I know.
Like, that's weird.
The way I look at it is, if they do release the game, then I'll buy the cabinet. Because I don't want the cabinet that doesn't have the game. To be honest with you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It did look awesome. It was definitely the coolest looking iiRcade cabinet they've done so far, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. The marquee was awesome, specifically.
Yeah.
So
right now I got the Retromania Wrestling iiRcade, and I'm very happy with it. It's definitely, like I said before, it's one of my most played machines in this room.
So I wonder if they're losing a little bit of momentum. Not that I don't think it's dire or anything like that. I don't want to oversell it, but they had a lot of good announcements back to back. They had the Mutant Football League. They had the Retromania. They had some big name classic titles, and there were some other newer titles they'd announced in that time period.
You got Mayhem Brawler coming out, which is really good. It's like a Streets of Rage, like a modern beat 'em up.
Yeah,
I think that's due out like any week now. I think that's coming soon. They got a Space Invaders Infinity Gene, which actually looks pretty good.
Is that? I haven't played a newer Space Invaders since Space Invaders Extreme, I think it was called. It was on Nintendo DS a while ago. Okay. I don't know anything about Infinity Gene. Is this a brand new game, or has it been around?
I might be wrong, but I think it's been out like for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's modern, but it's not like brand new.
Well, let me ask you this as a fellow owner of the iiRcade. Do you feel as excited about it now as you did a few months ago? Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not losing momentum. And it is also kind of the slow season, right? It's late summer. It's not holiday time.
I think the past 3 weeks, it's kind of been like kind of quiet on their front, but I haven't lost like interest in it. Like, I'm still really excited. They got, what else they got? They got some really good stuff coming out, like the Roston series.
Yeah.
I think they're doing elevator action. And then they got the newer take on elevator action.
I love elevator action at games. It's so frustrating to me, but it's so fun.
I'm still waiting. So there's a run and gunner that they said they were going to release on there called Bloody Wolf. It's actually a TurboGrafx game back in the day, and it was also arcades. And I haven't, they haven't released it yet. I don't know if that was canceled, but I've been really excited to play that on there.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it was coming to iiRcade.
Yeah,
so
like
I guess
they
I need to be
announced
more plugged
in.
in.
5 months ago or something, and
okay.
I'm like, oh, maybe they'll release Bloody Wolf finally, but I haven't seen it yet.
You should email Jong or their what's his name, Scott, I think, the guy that handles their PR.
The guy that does the Friday live streams, I think.
Well, no, the guy who does their PR behind the scenes, but he always has the up-to-date release schedule.
Okay.
We'll have to shoot him a note and see, because now I'm interested.
I think they should do like a schedule. We should know when.
I suspect, so you guys tell me in the chat if you think I'm right or wrong on this one, but I suspect, so you figure they get a game, it's kind of a 2-stage process. They get the rights approval, is I'm assuming step 1, and then they have to go work on the emulation for release.
Yeah.
Step 2. And so I think what they're doing is when they hit step 1, they get approval, they announce it, which I think is cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I want to announce stuff too. But then they don't really have the emulation sorted yet. So that's going to take a while. Now Mutant Football League is, I'm sure, one of, if not the most demanding games they're going to have on that machine. So I'm going to assume if they're having issues with the emulation, that's kind of its own thing and it's not representative. But if that becomes representative and they start this pattern of announcing games and then they don't show up, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But I doubt they're going to do that. I think they have their stuff together. I think they're pretty organized. And a lot of these games aren't going to be as demanding. And like we're talking about elevator action. Like they can get elevator action to run. It's not going to be a problem.
Do you know what else was actually really big for them? The online leaderboards. That just added like another whole element to it too.
And I think At Games got a lot of mileage out of that too.
Yeah, I think that's a big addition for the iiRcade.
So to go back to Class of '81, we know now it's going to have online leaderboards. So does that change your opinion there? I mean, those are leaderboard type games. Those are exactly the kind of games you would want to have a leaderboard. But does that matter to you enough to pay $600?
If I didn't already have the Miss Pac-Man and then the Pac-Man 40th, I would probably get it, but I don't know. It's still a big price tag, you know. The online play probably adds what, like $50 to the, you know.
I think those, I could be wrong, and I know prices change and prices have gone up, but I think those little Wi-Fi radios are like $15. I don't think it's 50 at all.
It's definitely a good feature though to have, especially with like Galaga, and I mean, I'm not really the greatest Galaga player to be honest, but it would still be pretty cool.
So my girlfriend's dad, in like his heyday, Galaga was, I think, it was basically Galaga and Dig Dug were the only two games he seems to have played back then. There are a lot of prominent arcade games he's never even heard of, but he's really good at Galaga and Dig Dug.
Nice.
And he spanks me on both of them, and it's exceedingly frustrating because you want to beat the old man, you know? And
What's
just
your,
can't.
All-time high score on Galaga?
I don't know offhand. It's been since I packed up my arcade. I'll have to get back to you on that. It's not impressive though. It's going to be very middle of the road.
Mine's only like 120,000 something.
I'm getting to like, I'm trying to even think which level I can get to, like 9, 8, 9, something like that. I mean, it's not super impressive. He definitely
like early 80s. All those early 80s games, I think the game that I'm best at is probably Burger Time.
Okay. But Burger Time is one of my favorites from that era.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it is. And when I was in Myrtle Beach, I went to an arcade at the behest of a ton of viewers, and I'd never heard of this place. It's called Player's Choice. Let me put on the video.
So is it on the boardwalk there? I'm actually going to Myrtle Beach in November. I have a friend's wedding to go to.
Okay. So
I might actually hit up this place that you're talking about.
So you need to go. A bunch of people told me I need to go, and I just went into it blind. I wasn't sure what to expect. So let me mute this because I'm going to be narrating it too, and I don't want that. So this is outside of, well, first off, let me answer your question. Where is this? So it's called Player's Choice. It's in Myrtle Beach. It's in the Myrtle Beach Mall. It's not at the boardwalk. When I went down there, the boardwalk arcade by the Gay Dolphin, if you know where that is, down by the Strip, that's where I was planning to go as like the main arcade. I looked up video footage of it, and it looks like more of a modern D&B, a lot of ticket redemption games and stuff. And so I didn't go. I could be wrong, but this place I just went back to 2 additional times instead of going anywhere else. Nice. They've got one store rented out. They've got a bunch of classic pinballs, as you can see here, set up. These you can't play, so I don't know if they're out of commission or what. But I mean, look at these machines and look at the condition they're in. They're in incredible condition, at least visually. Wow. And then there's another arcade, which I can put on the screen in a second, and or other segment to this arcade. There's basically 2 additional rooms, and these ones you can get into and play. And one of them has a lot of the classic 80s stuff.
How many machines do you think they had there?
Well, so not counting this room because you can't get in and play them. Their main arcade, and let me turn that up. Or sorry, here it is. Give me one sec. So again, this is in a mall. It's a small mall. It's got more empty stores than full. Like it's kind of a dying mall or whatever. It's super like comfy. I definitely recommend you go. But this Player's Choice place is in the middle of this just random location.
Dude, I love that old Paperboy with the handlebars.
Yep. So this won't be everything. I think this will just be one row. But this is the main arcade room, and then over next to it is a video game store with a lot of really cool officially licensed like room decor, a lot of vintage games that you can buy. Nice. They had a TurboGrafx for sale. I think they had a TurboGrafx CD for sale, a bunch of stuff like that. And then they have more modern machines over there. Let me see if I have.
I actually just recently sold my entire TurboGrafx collection. The console itself didn't work though, but I had like 52 games for it. I'm not sure if I told you about this.
No, man, you didn't. I'm about to get angry.
Some guy bought it day one. I listed it on Marketplace. And,
what did you get for? Now I know it depends which games you had. And was this?
There was like 52 games.
Were they all Hue cards, or did you have CD, or what did you have?
Some of the Turbo CDs. It was mainly the Hue cards. I think I had like 6 of the CD games, and I probably had like 45-ish Hue card games. And $1,400 somebody paid for all that.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then somebody bought. I had the broken console. I don't know what was wrong with it, but the guy, he said he could repair it, and somebody bought that for $200. So that stuff is going for like crazy money.
Well, and I have to complain about this on stream every chance I get. I'm pretty sure my mom like gave away my TurboGrafx and games. Now I didn't have 52 games. I probably had like 5 to 10. I was a little kid. I didn't have a big collection. But I'll never forgive her for that. I'll always be a little irritated. Man. I'll check this out. They have a baby Pac-Man at the, so have I convinced you yet? Are you going to go to this Player's Choice because you need to go?
For sure, yeah. Because I got like 4 days there. I'm going from like Thursday to Sunday, so
nice.
We got a couple days just to do whatever. So we're definitely I definitely want to check out this place.
So this is in the middle of North and like regular Myrtle. So wherever you're staying, it'll be somewhat easy to get to.
Yeah.
Baby Pac-Man is hard, by the way.
That's like one of my favorite classics right there.
And it worked perfectly. I mean, that was the thing, was the condition that they have a tapper machine, and the left stick sticks a little bit. And one of their Tales from the Crypt pinball had an issue with one of the ball shoots. Okay. But other than that, and I played pretty much every machine here, they're also only a quarter, 25 cents, no matter the game, even over in their modern game section. So you could go there with like $10 and spend your afternoon, no problem.
Have a 6-player X-Men there?
Yes, they had the 6-player with the dual screen.
Nice.
They did have that. I don't think I played it, but here's footage of, now that you mention it, here's footage of it. So this is the final section of Player's Choice, where it's a game store, but it's also the more modern arcades. And they had a stand-up Star Wars trilogy, which you can see here. And then there's the 6-player. That original Batman pinball I really like. I think that was the only pinball on this side I played.
There's a barcade. Have you ever been to Denver, Colorado?
Yeah, but for work, and like I was stuck in a hotel. So basically, no.
I think it's called One Up, actually, and it's the same logo as Arcade One Up, but it's just called One Up.
Okay.
And that place was awesome. Definitely the coolest barcade I've ever been to. They had like everything you could think of. They had this massive bar in the center. It was pretty nice. There's a good one in Philadelphia too, about a half hour from where I live.
Okay.
But aside from that, it's hard to find these type of places these days.
Well, and the machines are only getting more expensive. The CRTs are going to more commonly burn out. And speaking of that, so I did a video a while ago on Unico. I don't know why I lost track of the name. Not my crappy interview with Unico, but my video on their replacement LCD. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
So they're ready. They're getting ready to release it, and they've got a unit for review. I told them not to send it to me because I don't have original hardware, so it'd be wasted on me. Because that's the idea, is it can handle lots of different original arcade boards with different video outputs, and they have different sizes, so you can drop this in to original hardware because those CRTs aren't forever.
Yeah,
so
it'll save a lot of these older machines, you know.
Exactly. I'm excited that they're doing that. And it's coming. So I don't think they know pricing yet, or at least they haven't told me. I don't know the pricing, and I don't know exactly when it'll be out. But apparently they're taking an LCD that was manufactured for medical displays. Nice. And they just found another use for it. So I hear it's a really high quality screen.
Do you imagine trying to get this thing into your house?
You know, every time I see that and I think about stairs, I just picture my foot slipping as I like walk backward, and I just die. Like I just get buried.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So the new house
is definitely one of my all-time favorites though, right there.
Yeah, absolutely. My new house though, real quick, is gonna have a walkout basement. So I could finally start picking up original. I don't know that I will, but I could. My thing was, until I
had that ability, I would definitely get an original Street Fighter.
My problem is I have OCD, so if I get some original hardware, I'm gonna have to get all original hardware, and I don't know if I want to get that deep. I can't be the guy with like this 6-player X-Men monster cabinet next to a bunch of 1-ups. The 1-ups will look like crap if I do that.
I would have to keep that like separate, you know.
It'd have to be like 2 rooms or something. I don't know, but I feel like it would ruin it. I mean, I think one of the reasons I can enjoy maybe the 1-ups and the MVSXs of the world more than someone that's more used to original hardware, is just because to me, I kind of buy it for what it is. But if I was a collector of original hardware, I really don't think I'd be that interested in the home stuff.
I just like being able to move the cabinets, you know, like, because I'm constantly moving these things. And
well, as we know from your video, right, you got that showcase area, the between the two ferns type setup. You got to be able to move them.
Yeah, I got to carry it up to the 3rd floor. It's like, oh my god, there's no way these things, the originals would fit up here.
Yeah. So Arcade Will had an interesting comment. Why does 1UP bring 60 versions of the same game? What if those exclusives are going to expire? Look, I'll tell you, I think I've said this before. I think the reason they release so many of the same titles, not the least of which being Capcom titles, which is behind Jason right now, is because those are the ones that retailers are interested in, and they don't have a strong direct to consumer market, and they have a really strong fixed cost. Every time they tool up their manufacturing for a new cabinet, they apparently had to sell, and John said this, John D said this a couple years ago, so this number might be out of date, but he said we got to sell 3,000 cabinets. So and we saw with Burger Time that they can't really sell 3,000 cabinets direct to their audience, so they got to go through retailers, and retailers want more and more Capcom, you know, and they want more and more Pac-Man, Namco stuff. So I think that's the constraint, and to me, that's part of the promise of an iiRcade or not games, because with the Legends, you can sideload whatever you want, but then with the iiRcade, you can buy the titles, and they can put, excuse me, at least in principle, they put titles on there that Arcade 1UP could never get approved for pickup from a Walmart, you know, but they could show up on an Arcade One or an iiRcade store, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Do you think iiRcade will ever get like a Namco or Konami?
That's a big question, and I wonder about that. I'm a little surprised they haven't yet, if I'm being honest. I kind of thought by now they would. I don't think I'd want, like, I think about me having an iiRcade, and I'll ask you this question too. For me, I don't think I'd want to play those games on there. It's an 8-way joystick.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point of hi-fi audio for Pac-Man or whatever? I don't know, but would you want to play those games on there?
Not really, yeah. Like, I think they got to focus more on the modern stuff. They got to get Shredder's Revenge. I'm just waiting for that. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but
I'm a little surprised it hasn't, and maybe they're working on it. I have zero inside knowledge on this, so I'm not trying to get the rumor mill started, but I think it would be unfortunate if they don't get Shredder's Revenge. Those are exactly the kind of games they need to have to set it apart. And that way the classic gamers will want an iiRcade, because yeah, they might not want to play Pac-Man on it, but they want to play Shredder's Revenge on it because of the history with the IP, even though it's a new game.
Little Streets of Rage 4, it's another one.
Yeah, there's that whole era of modern reboots or whatever, and they're sequels, but yeah.
And they could even do the themed. If they did Shredder's Revenge, they could do the Turtles cabinet, and I think that would be big for them. I think they got it, whatever it costs, just make it happen.
Yeah, you know, you've got to get the publisher interested. So I reported on a rumor a while ago with Arcade 1UP, but it's related to what we're talking about, and that was, there was a rumor floating around that Arcade 1UP's going to do a new title, an exclusive title. Now it couldn't be Shredder's Revenge, because that the kind of budget they're going to do with that, they need to release that on a lot of platforms. It's already been announced and stuff, and I don't think Arcade 1UP wants to deal with chipsets that are that expensive to run that. But this would be a new title, and we don't know if it's true or not. And look, I reported on this like maybe 4 months ago. We've heard nothing, so maybe it's completely bunk. But a lot of people in the community, I think, looked at that and said, "Oh, that's baloney. We'll never see that," for a variety of reasons. But I think that's what we have to push the things forward. For iiRcade, I think we need games like Shredder's Revenge, which are already happening. We need them on that platform to warrant the higher end hardware and to keep the hype going, but it's still got that retro tie-in, because I still think, maybe it's controversial, but I still think these newer titles, even like Retromania,
yeah,
I'd kind of rather play that on my TV. It's just deep enough. I kind of want a full controller, and I kind of want to sit down. But Shredder's Revenge would be perfect, I think, for an arcade format, like or a Streets of Rage 4, these modern beat 'em ups.
Sure, yeah.
But I could see Arcade 1UP doing like a sequel to maybe an old IP that never got a sequel or something like that. And it's, it's a timed exclusive. Again, we'll see if it happens, but I think it probably needs to.
What's on your Arcade 1-Up wish list? If you had to pick like 2 or 3 cabs that you want that they haven't done yet.
Yeah, Daytona USA.
Like reboots of other cabinets, that they've already done, something like that.
Yeah, so at this point, man, Daytona USA is #1. I really, I'd walk into the arcade, and like probably a lot of you guys that are in the chat, like you'd have the back wall of whatever arcade you went to. Do you remember that, Jason? How they just have like 8 Daytonas set up, or at least they'd have multiple sets of 2.
Yeah.
And he'd have that music blaring. I remember going into an arcade called Game Works. I don't know. Do you remember that, or do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember that one.
So it was owned by Sega, and it was short-lived. It was only around for a few years, but basically Sega created their own franchise of arcades, and then they would populate it with their machines, obviously, and they'd be huge.
Nice.
And it wasn't. I don't think it was exclusively Sega titles, obviously, but they would have a lot of their titles, and then they'd have the Daytona USA wall, like the most kitted out version of Daytona, and it was awesome. So to me, getting to experience that in the home has to be #1. Yeah. I see Arcade Will saying MVC2, but he's talking about an iiRcade.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But I think we're a long ways away from that on Arcade 1-Up. But I guess what's your #1 or 2 pick?
I think it might be unpopular, but I'm dying for like a more modern Golden Tee with online play. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I don't think it's I think that would sell like crazy.
Yeah, if they could do maybe slightly newer versions of the game, and then have the ability to play online, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I think sell the old one. If they did that, I'd probably actually get rid of the old one.
So I think there are 2 hurdles to a more modern Golden Tee variant from 1-Up. #1, the chipset. #2, Golden Tee sells. They have an active list of products that you can buy of theirs and play online and do it at home. They've got that portable system, but they sell, I think, a decent number of their arcade units to people that have like a home bar. So they're probably worried about cannibalization because the products are expensive as hell. Like the Golden Tee online stuff that you can buy with the big 40-inch monitor mount and stuff.
I think.
Yeah, something probably it's thousands of dollars. So if you're them, you want to keep selling that stuff for $5,000 or whatever. And Arcade 1-Up says, hey, we got to do this for under 700 or 600. I don't know that Golden Tee would want to play ball with that versus their GT Classic was far enough removed, old enough, didn't have online. I don't think anyone's picking that over the modern hardware. But if they came out with what you're talking about, it might cannibalize some sales.
That is true. I didn't even think of that. That's a good point. But that would be sweet though. Or even if just more modern games, maybe leave off. I don't know. I think the online play is key, but I don't know. I'm just a huge fan of that first Golden Tee. It's actually my oldest cabinet in here. I think it's my what was that, Wave 2 when that one came out?
I don't even know if I don't know if that was 2 or 1.5. Like it was felt kind of in between generations, and then it had the the recessed monitor, which was awesome. It had the tilted down control panel.
Yeah, that was a good one. How's your track? You have that one, right? How's your trackball holding up on there?
It's held up great. I try to, like, if I haven't played it in a while, I kind of will dust the top of it and try to keep dust build up to a minimum.
Yeah.
But I also, it's been sitting for a couple months. I haven't played it as much since I moved. But have you had any issues? I know some people had to take their trackball apart and clean.
No, I never really had an issue with it. Still spins pretty freely. No issues with it. I honestly haven't played it in about a month though. I got to get back on there.
It's one of the rare 1-Ups from that era that held up well. That like you probably wouldn't want to sell. They did right by that cabinet. They still have the goofy speaker embedded in the control panel and all that, but other than that, it doesn't have oh god.
Got a great look to it. Like
as we're saying this, Kongs is telling us he's selling his.
Oh man!
Why, man? The Golden Tee is forever.
What's like the going rate if you're gonna sell an arcade? I've always sold them for like 200, but I know I could get more.
I sold my. I'm trying to think which other one. I sold a Street Fighter, and there's one other one I sold. Oh, I sold my Galaga, my Gen 1 Galaga, and I think I sold them for 2 or 225 with a riser. I don't know, Kongs. How much are you selling?
I feel like nowadays 300 is good, but I don't know.
I think they've gone up.
Per side.
You might be right. Kongs can tell us how much he's selling his for. That's sacrilegious, man. I can't
I think
believe
I paid 400 for it brand new, the Golden Tee.
I think I did too.
But I actually bought that at Kohl's. I don't even know if they still sell Arcade One Up, but I remember I ordered that from Kohl's.
Did you get the Kohl's cash hookup?
Yeah, like I remember I got a great deal on it. I got like $6 in Kohl's cash, and I think it was on sale on top of that.
Yeah, that's I'm going through that right now with that. By the way, Kong's saying he's selling it for $250.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Thanks. $250.
I don't know though. There are a lot of people that want it. The question is it still available at retail? And I assume it's not, but I don't know that for sure. If it's not, it might be worth more than $250.
A buddy of mine is selling the Star Wars cabinet. I know those are pretty rare.
That's got to be worth bank.
I would think you could get probably like 500 for it.
I would think you could easily get 500.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to sell mine.
That was a great cabinet from Arcade One Up, the Star Wars.
Yeah, if my flight yoke doesn't ever break, and I guess if it does, I can go get the GRS one. But I'm never going to sell that cabinet unless
it just looks awesome. It's just such an iconic cabinet.
Absolutely. Well, that was they had Star Wars. I'm looking over at my other screen, but they had Star Wars Trilogy at Player's Choice.
Nice.
And I still I know a lot of people, it's not unique, but I guess you asked me my dream cabinets. The Star Wars Trilogy has to be in that list because
yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
That was more my era in the arcades. I wasn't around when the original Atari lineup came out.
Another one I'm hoping for, and I'm sure it's coming, is House of the Dead. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
It has to be. And John D's referenced it, man. There's no way they get out of, maybe not this year, but I'd be surprised if next year we don't see House of the Dead, Daytona, stuff like that.
I'm hoping like the next wave, or the first wave of 2022 has House of the Dead and Mortal Kombat Live. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat was one. I mean, didn't they tease a Mortal Kombat re-release? I guess they might have been. This was like the beginning of the year. They might have been talking about the Midway Legacy, but I kind of thought they'd go the online direction, and they didn't.
Yeah. If they did an MK Live, I'm hoping they use the that Mortal Kombat 1 skin for the cabinet.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
They got to go away from the MK2. I feel like they just done too many cabs with it.
And including have you seen the Mortal Kombat cocktail?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's got the MK2 art on it. And that's just
cocktail table. They look cool, but at $700, man.
$700, and if I was gonna get one, I think I'd get Marvel for that games lineup. And I think they did a good job with the artwork. It's got like the Mortal Kombat one's trying to look like original MK2 artwork, but there was no MK2 cocktail, so it just looks a little out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, Papa Brad referencing that Star Wars mod that B Kong did. That was fire.
Yeah, it was. He did a crazy Outrun mod too.
I know. I can't look at it because then I'll stop liking my Outrun. So I got to just shut that one out because then I'll want to try to do it, which I'll screw up and it'll take forever. So I just don't even want to go down that rabbit hole.
Top 3 cabs I'm hoping for is Cruisin', House of the Dead, and that Golden Tee, a more modern Golden Tee. I think they're my top 3.
I think Golden Tee to me would be the biggest question mark, but Cruisin', House of the Dead, man, I think you're going to see those.
Yeah.
But you asked me about Terminator. Are you going to get T2?
I don't know.
Or are you waiting to see how the guns work? Is it a light gun? Is it going to be?
It's going to be like too goofy. I don't know. It's going to be tough for them to do that in a 3/4 scale, I think.
Well, it looks like the guns are detached, and then I'm assuming they're going to use an optical sensor, which is a little lame, but maybe it'll work fine.
If I do end up getting that, I would probably sell Big Buck, but I don't really want to sell that.
Well, then maybe save your money. A lot of people I know are.
I think I'm going to wait and see on the T2, but I mean, that was always an awesome game.
Right. I played it mostly I played the Sega Genesis version at like a friend's house. I've played the arcade version, but I think I played that mostly on Sega. A lot of people want to see Carnival, and it's never. As far as I know, it's never even been teased by One Up. I wonder if we're going to see some of this kind of action out of At Games because they've got their what's it called? What's their light gun called? That's not Bit Pixel, Bit Blaster? Does that sound right?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It just uses a sensor bar tech, I think. But they've got that hardware they want to show. I mean, I'm waiting to see that. Maybe they're just assuming people are going to sideload stuff, but I wonder if they're going to make any announcements.
That driving cab was leaked by At Games too.
Yep. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick, actually, before we get off here, because I did want to get into some gossip. So that saga Did you catch that? And probably a lot of you guys in the chat have seen this, but just to catch everyone up. So At Games posted a photo, an image, I guess I'll call it, because I don't know, render or whatever, but they posted an image of their driving cab. Retro Ralph posted, hey, this is just a generic product from AliExpress, because he said he had been researching like DIY driving cabs, pre-assembled, semi-DIY stuff, whatever, 6 months before, and he'd found that. So he recognized the image. So he posted, this is, what are you doing at Games? You're just posting something off AliExpress. Like, what's this about? You know, it's not really your product. So before I go any further, do you know what I'm talking about, Jason?
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So and so Papa Brad saying, hey, it was proof of concept. Yeah, so that was the thing. So At Games came out and clarified this was just proof of concept. We're working with that vendor directly. They're going to have our software and stuff. So at the end of the day, I thought it was kind of a minor controversy. Like I thought it was goofy, maybe even borderline unprofessional, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal because they're not coming to market with it yet. They're not taking pre-orders. They just showed an image. But I don't know why when they showed the image, they didn't just explain like what it really was. Like we took this product, we slapped this on it, here you go. And they've done stuff like that before. If I'm thinking back a year or two ago, I remember they had a concept for one of their products embedded in Arcade 1-Up. And they might have worked with P-Dubs on that. I'm going off memory on this. This was a while ago. But it was clearly presented as just a simple proof of concept, and everyone was cool with it. They could have done that for the driving game, and they didn't. And the reaction they had, like their walls of text they posted on social media reacting to Ralph, I thought was a little weird. Like I thought it was made a little too much of it, probably by both sides. But do you have an opinion on any of that?
No, I mean, I didn't really like follow it that close. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. Like, I think it's an awesome idea that they're doing that, and I don't know. It didn't really faze me too much. I don't know.
Well, I don't know anything about those products. I guess they're like $500. I don't even know, like, if you order it, does it come with, I assume it doesn't come with a computer. I assume you're just putting a PC in it and running it that way. And it's really just the chassis and the seat and maybe a screen. I know very little about that as a product that you would order from AliExpress. But if we're finally are going to get a racing cab that's a racing cab with a proper seat, and you don't need to be B-Kong with modding, you know, that to me, that's the real news. And that's why I thought it was kind of handled poorly from At Games, because buried in all of that is, hey, we might be getting an affordable multi-cade racer that has a proper seat and maybe a decent quality wheel. I mean, and that'd be huge news. If they can deliver that, that's going to be awesome.
What do you think that cost would be?
Well, if and you guys tell me in the chat if I'm wrong, I think the AliExpress price on just like the basic kit with which I assume doesn't come with a computer, is I think $500. So if I had to assume you're going to add a system on a chip to that, you're going to add, I don't know, licensing, maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. Are they going to license like a name brand like they kind of did with pinball? Or are they going to just sell it as a sideload product? I would think at a minimum $750, if not closer to $1,000. The shipping cost alone on something that big and heavy is going to be
like a couple hundred, right? Yeah.
I would think at least $150 in shipping.
Yeah. I feel like there's like a price that, you know, there's a price point where people, it would really hurt them if they went over like $900, I think.
Maybe. I think it always comes down to the quality, because if the alternative is building your own system for, and I know racing is sky's the limit. You can buy like a direct, I don't even know that much about this, but you can buy like really high-end wheels with the direct feedback or direct drive or whatever it's called, like the belt system. And those wheels can be a couple grand, I think. So you can go sky's the limit on it. But I think if they're quality and they pack in some decent games people want with the ability for expansion, I think they can get close to $1,000.
Yeah. I would definitely consider it. I mean, it's a great concept for sure.
So here's some news I didn't know. Kong's just posted this. So he says they clarified one thing that had me excited about the At Games Racer. They're working toward full force feedback, and that feedback would be compatible with OTG on a computer. So that's great. I think what hurt him with the pinball was you can plug your computer in, but it's not necessarily going to work with the exciters and stuff. To me, if that's compatible with OTG, then that's significantly elevated the product. assuming the component quality is there. So I don't know. That's all I got, man. You got anything else on your mind, Jason?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna probably take a little. I'll check out this 2-player countercade this afternoon. I'll try to get a review out this week, maybe like Tuesday or something.
Nice.
That looks pretty awesome, though.
It looks fantastic. By the way, you said you paid a little more than it was on Amazon. But what did you pay for?
So Target, it was listed at $229, but they were doing like a 10% off.
Okay.
So I think it was like $218 with tax and everything. But then, like the day after I ordered it, Amazon listed it for $179.
God.
So I was like, oh, damn it. But,
well, make sure fire up your affiliate link, and when you post the review, if you like it, get the Amazon affiliate. Go on.
Yeah. I think they sold out. They must have only had like 50 of them on Amazon.
Well, at that price with that games list, I was guessing that was
really fast.
I'm not surprised. That'd be one of the better
if Amazon does the NBA Jam 2-player countercade, I'll probably buy it off there. I think it's worth it.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it. Thanks for hanging with us, guys. Sorry my voice is hoarse. I was at I went to a bar last night with my buddy to watch the UFC fight, and they were playing a football game most of the time, and the crowd in this bar was ungodly loud. So me and my buddy are talking at like max volume the whole night just to communicate. So I'm a little hoarse. I'll be back.
I was watching those same fights too. I was up to probably to like 2:30 watching those.
Well, the main event was so exciting, and if you guys watch MMA fights, this was one of the most exciting fights I've ever seen. Like definitely like top 3 of the last like couple years, in my opinion. And so it's so hype that it's hard to come back from that and like go to sleep and relax. So I'm with you, man.
By the time I got home from that, it was around like 2:30. Luckily, it's like one of my rare days off. So I have this like crazy work schedule where I'm working like 6 days a week. So it's like, it's too much.
Yeah, it is too much.
I try to get these YouTube videos in too, like once a week.
You burning the midnight oil, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, super busy schedule.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for joining us, Jason. Check out his channel, guys, if you want to see that review for the countercade. P-Dubs will have to watch that review too, because I know he wanted to see it plugged in. We couldn't.
Yeah, I wanted to plug it. It's a shame I have the cord downstairs. I can't.
Well, we'll get there all in good time, and you'll have it on your video, and we'll chat soon, my man. And thanks everyone in the chat. We'll talk.
Thanks for having me on, UC. I appreciate it.
Later, my man.
Talk to you soon.